right, here we go. We are live. Sorry about that brief delay, guys. I accidentally knocked out the cable for my mic at the last minute, so I had to get that fixed. That prevented me from going live right on time, so had to pull out some of my troubleshooting skills from when I was what studio was that at? Tree Sound Studios. As far as knowing the chain of where the problem is coming from. But you guys don't care about that. You're here for your beat reviews. Welcome. It is Friday. It is Friday. It is Friday. What's going on? Otter Sock in the chat. Shout out to you. Shout out to you. Once again, it is Friday. It is time for the Heat Check, the live beat review show right here on YouTube. I'm your host, Desmond A, and I'm here to give you guys some great feedback on your beats. So, if this is your first time here, you may be wondering, who is this guy? Why should I be listening to him? You know, what qualifies him to give me any advice on my beats? Well, I've been producing music for over a decade. I have placements on television programs such as E-Television, Sci-Fi, Bravo, the list goes on. I can't even remember at this point. Also worked with different recording artists here in the Atlanta area as a producer and as a engineer, recording engineer mostly. And yeah, that's pretty much it, man. And made beats my whole life, sold beats my whole life, worked with recording artists for like the past 10 years, man. So yeah, that's what qualifies me to give you feedback on your beats. And once again, shout out to the chat. Looks like we got Millibeatz in the chat. What's going on, Millibeatz? Thank you so much for joining the Heat Check. So once again, if this is your first time, you might be wondering the format of the show. How does this go? So what happens is you submit your beats to me right after the show ends. That's when the free submissions opens for next Friday. So if you see the link in the description, DesmondASounds.com/review, that's where you go to submit your beats for the Heat Check. So free submissions are closed. We have a full house tonight. So if you so choose to, you can go ahead and purchase a VIP Skip the Line pass. You just go to DesmondASounds.com/VIP to get a Skip the Line pass. We had someone do that last Friday. They enjoyed their feedback. Hopefully they'll show up again here in the chat. So if you want to get that as well, DesmondASounds.com/VIP to skip the line, get your beat review, and be on your merry way. But if you don't want to do that, you can wait till next Friday for the free submissions. Also, here at the Heat Check, I play about a minute and a half of each beat. So if you see me tapering off the volume, don't take it personal. That's what I'm doing for each beat. So that way we can keep time, make sure everyone gets their feedback. And that's much longer than any beat review or beat showcase I've ever been in my whole life. That's plenty of time to get off all the details that I need for the beat. Also, here at the Heat Check, there's no roasting, no snapping, no jonesing. This is not the place for that. This is a dojo. You know, if you ever been in boxing, karate, taekwondo, Muay Thai, your coach doesn't sit there and say, oh, that was a trash kick. Oh, that was a trash punch. No, they say, wait. Lift your shoulder up a little bit, then jab. You know, lift your knee up a little bit, then snap the kick. You see what I'm saying? So we give constructive, actionable feedback here. So if you hear something, you could say, you know, that melody could use some work. Those drums could use some work. You know, I would use a different 808. It's clashing. We want to give the person real actionable steps so that way they walk away with something that they can actually use to help them grow in their music production journey. So if you agree with that, you like the way that sounds, then keep staying tuned to the Heat Check and you can get your feedback like that. So yeah, also if you see up here, you can check out DesmondASounds.com for free loops, free guides, and free FL Studio Patcher plugins. So make sure you guys go there, get all your free goodies. I got a new loop pack coming out soon. Probably gonna be working on that this weekend. So you're gonna see an announcement for that in my YouTube community or my Discord, which you can join also in the description. Go ahead and click that link, join the Discord, and I'll be glad to have you in the family. So it looks like that's it for all our housekeeping items. We got a full house tonight, like I said. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. Let me go ahead and change the screen here. All right. Full house tonight, as you can see. Let me make sure that I'm a little more centered on the screen. It looks like I'm showing a little low. Hold on, guys. Let me get a little. I'm going to make sure I'm right in the middle so it's like we're talking to each other. All right. So our first submission of the night. Looks like we have Hector with Flute Haha. Looks like that's the name of his track. Hector, shout out to Hector. I'm gonna go ahead and mute my mic, listen to this beat, and then go ahead and give my review. So let's go ahead and check it out. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was our first submission of the night. That was Hector with Flute Haha. All right, so Hector, that beat was overall a good beat. I could definitely tell that's a beat that's going to be relatively easy for a rapper to create a song to. Now, there's a couple things that was going on there that really threw me off, and it's also going to throw a recording artist off. One, your intro to your beat was good. You kind of had like this percussion sound going. It was kind of laid back in the background, and then we came into like a hard snare, and that transition was just a bit harsh. It felt like something jumped out at me in a not so good way. If something jumps out, we want it to be mostly in a positive way, but that jumped out to me in like a negative way. So it's like it was more jarring and surprising as opposed to like making me want to turn up. So I would turn up that percussion sound you have just to have it more in balance with that snare that came in after it. We need a smooth transition. You see, like smooth transition, have it transition together as opposed to just jumping and then just kind of shocking us. Other than that, there was a section there where the beat was riding, the beat was vibing, and then we went into that flute. That flute just kind of felt cartoony. It felt like unserious, and the beat itself, it seemed like the beat itself had a much more serious vibe. I felt like intensity. I felt like I'm hearing somebody like, the only person I could think of right now is Eminem off the top of my head, but even just other rappers who kind of have those introspective type of songs could get on something like that, and that flute section just threw everything off. So let's take out that flute section and just have the beat going as it was. That flute section wasn't really needed. Keep it as it is. We don't have to do too much when it comes to beats. You had enough. You had all the elements there. That flute section just made things not feel right. It's almost like watching a dramatic movie and then like a comedic character comes in and it's like kind of like surprising. It's like, I was kind of vibing to this serious, dramatic tone and vibe of this movie, and why is this comedian there? It's like, you know, he's not needed for the movie. So hopefully that was clear. That made sense. Good beat. Just make those couple of tweaks, then you'll be good to go to just send it right over to a recording artist, and they'll be able to make a song to it, no doubt. It's gonna be easy peasy to write a song to something like that. So shout out to you, Hector. Shout out to you. Thank you so much for submitting on the heat check, and I'll be glad to help you with more reviews and your music production journey. All right, moving forward, we have Millibeatz with Wire. All right, here we go. So shout out to you, Millibeatz. Also in the chat, we're gonna check out your track, Wire. So I'm gonna mute my mic, then I'm gonna give my feedback. So let's go ahead and check it out.
Don't matter who did what to who at this point. Fact is, we went to war, and now there ain't no going back. I mean, shit, it's what war is, you know? Once you in it, you in it. If it's a lie, then we fight on that lie. But we gotta fight.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Millibeatz with Wire. All right, so shout out to you, Millibeatz. Now, Millibeatz, I'm definitely feeling that West Coast vibe. You nailed that. You nailed the drum bounce. There's a couple things in there that jumped out at me. One, in the intro, in the beginning, I felt like some of the notes were clashing. They were like running up against each other. It's almost like the note release in your DAW didn't release in time. So some of the sounds just started to like overlap and clash with each other. Like the bass sounds like I was hearing like some of that clashing, like the bass was hitting each other. Also the piano in the beginning, it felt like it was overlapping each other. Like the notes didn't stop and didn't transition to the next note properly. And that caused like things to just give a clashy kind of feel. Not necessarily musically as far as like key or anything like that, but as far as just release, the actual release of the instrument just sounded like it needed to be tighter because it was just banging against each other. Also, another thing I was hearing in that beat was the instruments were kind of, we had things that were really loud and really quiet, like the kick was really quiet in comparison to other elements that were way up here. So it made it difficult to really vibe to the beat. What that tells me is that there could be something going on in your listening environment. Like, are you using extremely small speakers to mix your beats? Or are you using like, maybe you're not using like studio headphones like these to mix your beats? If so, it sounds like something is just interfering with your ability to hear how the different levels are going. So if you could, possibly try getting headphones, or if you're not able to get studio monitors, just get these. These are the Sony MDR 7506, I believe. I've had these pretty much my whole career, and it's never steered me wrong. So I would definitely get those, because we just need to rebalance the beat. It's like the kick was too quiet, so we need to get everything in balance. The kick is too quiet, kind of threw off the vibe of the beat. Yeah, other than that, that was it. Good West Coast vibe, but just those things were keeping things from just blending and flowing the way that they need to blend and flow. And it just, it's interfering with the vibe that you're trying to create. So if you could tighten up those things, you'll be good to go. But it also looks like you got another submission tonight. So shout out to you, Millibeatz. We also got another beat here called Millie. All right. So we're going to check out this other submission by Millibeatz. I'm going to go ahead and mute my mic, then go ahead and give my feedback. So let's take a listen together. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Millibeatz with the second submission of the night called Millie. All right. So shout out to you, Millibeatz. Now, with that beat, the first thing I heard was the second chord was off. It almost sounds like there's one note in that chord that is just not, it's not right on the right note to form the chord that you're trying to form. So if I can get you to look in your DAW, however you're programming your piano, there's like one note off, whatever that note is. You just want to, mess around with it, push it up, push it down, different steps, different half steps until you get the chord feeling perfectly right. And I understand the feeling sometimes when you're making a beat. You can kind of feel like, I really want to get this vibe out. Okay, I got this chord. Let me hurry up and move on. I know that feeling, and I don't want to sound like a dead horse, like I'm beating a dead horse, but that's part of the reason why I tell you guys to just learn some basic music theory. Just jumping on YouTube, doing some exercises. You don't always have to cram so much time practicing. It could just be 15 minutes a day. If you just do that 15 minutes a day, 5 days a week, that over time is going to compile, and then eventually you're just going to have a whole new tool in your toolbox. So when you're forming your chords, you can instantly know, ooh, that note is off, and then you know how to change it and where to change it, as opposed to kind of just trying to push through the rest of the beat. So I've been there, and I know what that's like. So I had to start the journey of just learning how to form chords, just major chords, minor chords. Plenty of resources there on YouTube. And then also I recommend learning some basic songs, different pop songs or whatever on just a little MIDI board. I have just a MIDI keyboard here, M Audio Key Station 61. M Audio Key Station 61. It's not, I guess somebody could use it on stage, but it's an inexpensive MIDI board, good for practicing. So yeah, check that out. Also with that beat, the piano sound itself, to me sounded a bit too stock. So if you're able to get better piano sounds that aren't quite as stock, I would definitely try to get that. You know, if you're able to get something like Keyscape, Omnisphere, what are some other good VSTs with good piano sounds? Contact. I know Contact, they're a part of Native Instruments, so if you're in a position that you want to get the subscription, you can get the subscription with Native Instruments, then get good piano sounds from that, as opposed to spending in bulk to get something like Keyscape, or however you get Keyscape. But yeah, I feel like you need new piano sounds to sound a little bit more professional. And the chords sound a little stiff, like everything is right there on the grid. So you can even kind of slip the notes a little bit off the grid at times. If it fits the vibe, do that. Like I'm hearing like even the velocity or the notes on the grid might just be a little too robotic. You know, give yourself a little swag, a little bit of movement. So, you know, things have that West Coast bounce that you're going for. So yeah, that was it. You know, overall good vibe, but we just need to tighten up those things to really slam dunk what you're trying to accomplish with those beats. But shout out to you, Millibeatz. I appreciate you for submitting on the heat check, and I'll be glad to help you in the future with your music production journey. So shout out to you. Moving forward, all right, we have jaequp with Sweet Lies. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and mute my mic, play this beat, then go ahead and give my feedback. So let's go ahead and take a listen. Ladies and gentlemen, that was jaequp, jaequp, my bad, jaequp with Sweet Lies. So shout out to you, man. That's a beat, man. That's right up there in my wheelhouse, man. Those chops, that sample chop reminds me of like classic Kanye. I wouldn't be surprised if you were a fan of that 2005 era of Kanye's production. I could just tell how you chop the sample where some of the inspiration may have came from. I could be wrong, but I could tell by how you was chopping that sample. Yeah, man, that beat is really ready to go. You just need to get an artist on it. The only thing that I'm thinking, and I was hearing this when I was freestyling, it could be a little bit nitpicky, but you should still be fine with this. But you could even test this out on your end in your DAW to see if you like it a bit more. With those vocal chops, those vocal samples, it felt good. But the only thing I'm thinking is, will it get in the way of a recording artist being able to write? So as opposed to it being so present, since we need a recording artist to finish the beat and make it an actual song, the thing I was thinking of is possibly doing like a little bit of a shelf, an EQ shelf, just taking off some of the top end of those vocals and just having them a little bit more, you know, a little bit underwater, kind of having a little bit of an underwater effect, just with the shelving, kind of, I think of you, I think of you. You can even have it panned out the way so it's still audible. So you could have one chop going that way, then the next chop going that way with the vocal, just making sure it balances. So that way, when the recording artist is listening to it, they don't feel like they have any competition. It's not them in the sample. It's not the beat in the sample versus their voice. It's the beat in the sample and their voice. And it's creating a marriage. So then it's like everything is just slam dunk together, making this great song. And then let's just say they want the exclusive. Then they can work with their engineer to, you know, take off and push up the high end of the sample to make it more audible later. So, you know, artists need more space, and then later they could work with their engineer to just make it more present. So yeah, man, that's really the only feedback I have on that. Great beat. You may need to be around a recording artist to sell that beat. As far as, you know, as far as vision, like, okay, where's the hook at? Where's the verse at? It might be something you need to be right next to them and say, okay, here's the idea that I had. You know, the name of the beat is Sweet Lies. You know, I want it to be about, you know, being with a woman and telling her, telling her the truth instead of what she wants to hear, and how she's having a hard time accepting that. So that's the concept of the song. And then this is where the hook goes in, and this is where the verse goes in. So something like this, you may need to be around the artist to actually sell it. It could sell well on its own, but that's just an extra tip. This is a feedback show, so just throwing that out there. You know, possibly you can use that, get in the studio with an artist and really slam dunk this beat. So, because what I wouldn't want to happen is you to send this beat to an artist you feel like it's perfect for, and then they don't pick it for some reason. So, you know, that happens and it's frustrating. So put it out there, man. Some of my experience. So shout out to you, JAEQUP. Appreciate that beat. Please continue to submit on the heat check, and I'll be glad to help you out on your music production journey. All right. So shout out to the chat. Let's see what we got here. Got Millibeatz here. Thanks, bro, for the feedback. You're right. I'm going to try to buy those headphones, and thanks for helping the community that is just starting out and diving into these deep waters. Sometimes we don't know where to start or where to go, and you're like a lifesaver. Oh, man, I appreciate that. Keeping us from drowning in these deep waters, helping us do things right. Oh, man, you're going to make a player. You're going to get a player emotional, man. It's bad enough I got this rose right here on my hat, man. But nah, but for real, man, I appreciate that, man. I'm just here to give you guys the help that I wish I had. When I started, we didn't even have YouTube. We just had a search through message boards. So it's giving my feedback here to help the community. But yes, that's greatly appreciated, Millibeatz. That helps me. That keeps me going and keeps me showing up here every Friday, because every Friday I don't necessarily want to be here. Got other things, but you know, I'm here and I'm glad to be here, and this keeps me going. So shout out to you. All right, moving forward, we have Marci Mazerati, Shadow's Eve. Okay, that's a powerful beat name. Let's go ahead and check this out. I'm going to go ahead and mute my mic. Then we're going to give our feedback. So let's go ahead and take a listen. I'm gonna start that beat over, have my headphones untwisted for a second. I wanna make sure I give the proper listen. So we're gonna start that over again. Once again, this is Marci Mazerati with Shadows Eve. Let's go ahead and take a listen. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Marci Mazerati with Shadows Eve. Shout out to you, Marci Mazerati. Please continue to submit on the heat check. Thank you for your submission. All right. Now, Marci, couple things with that beat. Now, first of all, that's a good bounce. I could tell you know how to program your drums. So you know you've been doing this for a little bit. You're not brand new. I could tell you were able to get that nice bounce that quite a few producers take a little while to get and lock in. So shout out to you for doing that. First thing that jumped out to me, that flute section once again. I don't know what's going on with flute sections tonight, or if there's a content creator out there, whatever, but that flute section definitely was not needed. It threw off the vibe. Something like that, what could happen is if that beat gets played in a studio and the artist is vibing to it, they might look at you crazy or look at the engineer crazy, like, why did he do that? And that's not a good feeling, especially if you're in the studio. And that's part of the reason why I preach so much less is more when it comes to production. You guys can, we have all these features, all these options with sampling and everything on our DAW. Is super easy to kind of get carried away. So let's go ahead and take out the flute section. The beat was good as is. The next thing, in that beat, I want an 808 with more growl to it. Something like, and I know this 808 is overused and quite a few people have criticisms for it, but I feel like this beat actually needs the Spins 808, because that Spins 808 has more growl to it. And I feel like that growl will fit the texture of this beat a bit better. Next, the kick in this beat. I can tell this kick is supposed to be a supporting kick and not necessarily the star of the beat. You have everything else being the star of the beat, but the kick is just a little bit too tucked away in the background. If we could just give it a little more oomph, a little more body. You may not even have to raise the dB too much. You may not have to raise the volume of it too much. Maybe you could do like a little slight EQ boost in the parametric or whatever EQ you're using. I would say somewhere around like the 200 range, 200 hertz range. Just do like a little bit of just push it up a little bit. I'll just show you guys really quickly. Just push up the kick, parametric EQ, like right here, right in the 200 range, like right here, 200, 300, right there. Just like a light boost. You don't have to go crazy. This is what I used to do when I started, all this crazy stuff that messed me up. Just like even like a light boost like this, and then what you want to do is A and B. So turn it off, turn it on, turn it off, turn it on, and then see which one you like better. Sometimes I even close my eyes and go like this, and then see what I like better, and then I open my eyes and look, and I'm like, oh, it sounded better with it off, you know. So all these visuals can trick us. We're in the music game, not in the visual game. So that's just another little tip that I've learned as well. It's that A and B trick right there. So yeah, that should give your kick more impact. We just need a little bit more presence in that kick. And that was pretty much it. That was it. So shout out to you, Mazerati, Marci Mazerati. And it looks like you got another submission tonight, which is Caviar and Cantalina. Let me see. Wait, Cantalina. Okay, Caviar and Cantalina. Okay, I thought it was Catalina. Cantalina. All right, maybe there's something else I'm not familiar with. So shout out to you, Marci Mazerati. We're gonna listen to this Caviar beat. I'm gonna go ahead and mute my mic. Then gonna go ahead and give our feedback. So let's go ahead and take a listen. All right, short and sweet. That was Marci Mazerati with Caviar and Cantalina. All right, so shout out to you. Now, man, that beat was good, man. Real unique. I like unique, trappy, modern hip hop trap kind of vibes. If you can land those two things together, man, that's definitely something that gets me as well. And then that was it. You know, unique vibes. I feel like somebody like Gunna could get on something like that. Now, as far as the feedback goes, I feel like I like the 808. I almost like a little. I can almost sounds like this is some digital distortion going on, but I actually like it. It might not be digital distortion because it was a little too pleasing to the ear. So there's some type of distortion going on that I'm really liking in that 808. But let's just take it down just a taste. Let's just take it down just a taste. I like it. I want it to be the way it is, but let's take it down just a taste. Like maybe even negative 0.3 dB. Just something real light like that, and then you'll be good to go. Negative 0.3, negative 0.4, you'll be good to go. It's gonna still have impact, and it's just gonna be a little bit more balanced. Other than that, with that beat, I'm actually hearing like an R&B singer. So a way that you can help to sell that beat is to find an R&B singer to possibly do the hook. You can look on something like Instagram. So just look on Instagram for different R&B songwriters, R&B singers. You know, you could pitch them using something like BeatStars so you guys can instantly get the splits going on. Or you can go straight to BeatStars and look for different recording artists on there and different people who do hooks. I would try to form like a bond with someone, like an R&B writer, as opposed to just like paying for somebody to do a hook. So like form something where it's like you give them the beat, they do the hook, you put it on BeatStars, and the BeatStars automatically splits it for you. So I would do something like that because that beat is good, but I think a good hook, the right hook, can really set it off. So don't just settle for any hook. If the hook isn't really good, definitely still show the artist just the original beat itself. But if somebody can knock out, slam dunk the hook, then that's really going to help to sell that beat. Not only does it have to be an R&B singer, you can even have someone who does like the, kind of like the Dej Loaf auto-tune kind of vibes, those Dej Loaf vibes on the hook. Dej Loaf, auto-tune Lil Durk kind of thing, where somebody does that rap singing thing that can also help to sell the beat as well. But yeah, those are the two things for that beat, just the 808 and then possibly getting a singer on the hook, and you should be good to go. And you could just make the beat a little bit longer. Look like that's almost like a snippet you sent over, but it would just be like looping it. You don't need to do nothing else, just loop it. You can even do like a low pass filter to help break it up a little bit between when you loop it and that sample part. Let's do a little low pass filter, then you'll be good to go. So shout out to you, Marci Mazerati. Appreciate you for submitting on the heat check. Keep submitting, and I'll be glad to help you on your music production journey. All right, moving forward, we have Jvn WRLD with 2025-21. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and mute my mic. Then I'm gonna go ahead and play this beat. Then we're gonna go ahead and give our feedback. So let's go ahead and take a listen. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Jvn WRLD with 2025-21. Shout out to you, Jvn WRLD. And Senor Papitas, shout out to you in the chat. Sorry about that. Typically, I have my banner up there at the top, letting producers know. I just flipped it on really quickly this stream. So just to let you know, Senor Papitas, the free submissions are closed. What's going to happen is after the stream is over, the form is going to reopen. So make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel because I make a community post letting you know you can do your free submission for next Friday's show. However, if you want to submit for today's show, I still have the option for the VIP skip the line, which is where you pay $10 to skip the line, get your beat reviewed, and, get it done this week. you could do that option. That is DesmondASounds.com/VIP. Once again, that's DesmondASounds.com/VIP. You can go there, submit, do the skip the line, or once again, you can wait for next Friday's show where you can submit. So shout out to you, Senor. I want to see you on the heat check. Now, moving forward with the feedback for Jvn WRLD. All right, JVN, the first thing that stood out to me was the melody. It sounded like the melody was, I like the overall atmospheric feel of things, but the texture of it was just, I like the overall atmospheric texture and feel of things, but it kind of felt like the melody didn't really go anywhere. It was just like do 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 do. So I feel like we could do a bit more to develop that. So let's experiment with effects. Also, listen to producers on a higher level of where you're trying to get to, and listen to how they handle melodies. That way you can use them as a framework on where you want to go and how you want to develop. So maybe you like Turbo, maybe you like Metro, maybe you like ATL jaequp. Really listen, and listen critically to how they handle their melodies, how they put things together, where their melodies go, and put that in your mental Rolodex and use that as a guide of where you want to get to in the future. And that's going to help you as you develop your melodies. Also, the 808 that you are using didn't really have too much bass to it. Didn't have too much sub frequencies to it. So to me, it sounds like, once again, you might be using somewhat cheaper headphones, or you could be using really small studio monitors or studio speakers for your beats, and it's just preventing you from hearing the lack of real low subs. So once again, if you can, invest in headphones such as these, the Sony MDR 7506. That's going to help you out in your music production journey. And also, if you can invest in a good audio interface, I have the SSL2. You guys don't have to buy everything at once. That's just something to put your mind on as far as saving. Whenever you sell beats here and there, you have different buckets to put what you're going to invest in the future. So don't panic and feel like you need to run and buy everything at once. Don't do that. So that's just another tip. Also, that percussion sound you have, it's like a tambourine. That was a bit too loud. It kind of threw me off. So you want to pull that down and just blend that a bit better so it fits the rest of the vibe of the beat. And that's pretty much it. Keep developing your sound, keep working, keep grinding, and listen critically. Make sure you find instrumentals of producers that you like without the vocals. I can't stress enough, without the vocals. That's really going to let you hear what that producer's doing melodically, and then you can add that into what you do in the future. So you're not going to be a carbon copy of the producers. You're just getting little tips on how they function. So that's what I want you to do. So shout out to you, Jvn WRLD. Shout out to you. And please continue to submit right here on the Heat Check. All right, perfect. Yes, Senior Papitas. I will see you next Friday. So shout out to you. I hope to check out your beats on next Friday's Heat Check show. Moving forward, we have Tafara with My Love. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and mute my mic, play this beat, and then go ahead and give my feedback. So let's go ahead and take a listen. Hi, ladies and gentlemen, that was Tafara with My Love. Shout out to you, Tafara. Thank you for submitting on this week's Heat Check. I think it's been a little minute since I've heard from you, Tafara, so shout out to you. Now, with that beat, good beat, nice and laid back, it's going to be easy for a songwriter to actually make a song to that beat. You just have left wide open space, nice percussion. Just now they can add their lead vocal, they can add their vocal stacks, their vocal harmonies, their ad-libs. If they want to do a little talking, they have all that room, all that sonic space that you left for them to do their thing. So shout out to you, and whatever songwriter gets this beat is going to be appreciative of that. One thing with that beat, so the bass was cool, but something in me is telling me to have you experiment with a live bass guitar. So if you know someone, or you know someone who plays the bass guitar, I would definitely have that added to that beat. Just take off the bass line you have now, add a live bass guitar, and I think that's really gonna set the beat off. You don't have to do it, but I think that's gonna take the beat to the next level. Because the percussion is laid back, the chords are laid back, that's going to give you more room for the bass line to just add a little bit more movement, a little bit more groove to that beat. If you don't want to do a live bass guitar, or for some reason you can't access a live bass guitarist, I want a little bit more growl on that bass. So if you have maybe some type of knob in that DAW, for that VST, to just add a little bit more growl to it. I'm not sure what VST you use for the bass line. Or you can use something like just a little bit of distortion or a little bit of saturation. And I mean a little bit. Just a teeny tiny bit, just to give it a little bit more growl. Just because that's a really subby bass line. It's still going to work. But I'm just saying, for extra taste, for extra texture, I would add some type of saturation or a little bit of distortion to it. But to be honest, I really want to see you slam dunk this beat with a live bass guitar if you have access to one. And I'm sure that's going to totally set the beat off. But shout out to you, Tafara, and thank you for submitting. It looks like you have another submission this week. It looks like this one is called Shyena. All right. So we're going to go ahead and take a listen. I'm going to go ahead and mute my mic. Then we're going to listen to this beat. So let's go ahead and take a listen. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Tafara with Shyena. Shout out to you, Tafara. Thank you for submitting. Now that was definitely a different style of beat from you. I didn't expect it to go in that direction with the trappy kind of bounce, the trap drums that you had going on there. Definitely took me by surprise, but you know, as I continue to listen, it took me on a good journey. You know, I liked where it took me musically. The intro is that's a very long intro, but it could work if you find yourself in the studio with the recording artist. Recording artists tend not to be that patient, and if they start from there, they decide to skip, and then they hear the trap drums, they might be like, what is this? And then just keep going. They might not feel the transition into the trap drums where it takes them musically. So if you're not able to be in the studio with the recording artist, I would definitely cut that intro so it can get to the point of the drums quicker. But yeah, I can hear that like I'm almost hearing like a crossover song. Like I'm hearing like an Afrobeat recording artist and maybe somebody like an American recording artist, somebody like Quavo, or maybe even somebody like Gunna. Just I'm hearing like rapping, and then I'm hearing like an Afrobeat international star on that beat, like them two having a little duo, a clash of the worlds, as you may put it. It's a clash of the worlds. That's the kind of record I'm hearing that could go to that. So yeah, once you get the intro cut down, man, definitely hop on Instagram, hop on BeatStars, and just hit people up, man. It's all a numbers game. You never know. You might hear 10 no's, 3 people open it, and then they don't reply. And then on the 11th one, you run into the right songwriter, and they take the song, you know, to the Billboard, or at least an album placement, and those can open up doors too. So definitely please get in touch with some type of songwriter. Instagram is the great equalizer. You get access to everyone. But you can also try BeatStars to find a songwriter. Now more feedback as far as the beat itself. I can actually hear you getting into digital distortion. So it's like the beat is hitting past 0. So we're getting that harsh digital distortion sound. And it can be challenging with the beat this aggressive to, you know, stay from clipping, from hitting red. But if you just pull things down a little bit, just give the drums a little bit of breathing room, so that way you're not clipping. Or you can use a really quality limiter like Ozone Maximizer or Pro L2 or Pro L3. I think quite a few producers use the Fab Filter Pro L limiters. They like those. I like Ozone Maximizer, but essentially do the same thing. Those are just all extremely high quality limiters that can help you from clipping and still keeping things sounding musical. Also, it sounds like you might be using some type of wave shaper. Something is really pushing the wave to be extremely aggressive. As far as the drums, I felt like the kick it's like you used a wave shaper on the kick, and it made it just a little bit too aggressive. So if you could just dial back the aggression on the kick, something is pushing the kick harder than it naturally is. I'm not quite sure what you did to it to do that. To me, it sounds like a wave shaper, but if I'm wrong, you know, just find a way to just ease back on the kick. Let the kick not be so super aggressive like that. But yeah, you'll be good to go. This beat mostly just needs a songwriter. So shout out to you, Tafara. Thank you for submitting on the heat check, and please continue to submit, because I'll be glad to help you on your music production journey. All right, moving forward, we have DANCIN Main. All right, triple OG DANCIN Main with A Liar Like Me. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and mute my mic. Go ahead and listen to this track by DANCIN Main, and then go ahead and give our feedback. So let's go ahead and take a listen.
Are you ugly? A liar like me? Are you the lost soul? Someone
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Dancin Main with A Liar Like Me. Shout out to you, Dancin Main, and OG here on the Heat Check. Now, Dancin Main, that was different, man. That was different in general, and also different coming from you. Man, the way you pan those kicks, man, I don't think I've ever heard a producer properly pan kicks when doing a breakdown like that, man. I just haven't. So shout out to you, Dancin Man. It just threw me off in a good way. So that was a real nice breakdown that you did. Definitely gonna catch the attention of the listener. One thing that got me though, in the intro, I felt like the sample, that vocal sample that you had there, felt like there were times where it slipped off tempo just a little bit, and it kind of threw off the vibe. You know, I know working with these vocal samples, working with samples can be challenging. No matter how long we've been doing this, sometimes they just don't seem to want to cooperate with us. But so what we need to do sometimes is just, you know, take things in sections, you know, do a little bit of time compressing or time stretching of the audio just to make sure that it fits the groove. You know, don't be afraid to turn on the metronome and just listen. And once it starts to slip, chop the part off and either compress the time, or time stretch it, and just make sure we got that. You know, if it has to be a little bit stretched, you just got to do that just to make sure that it fits the tempo and it's on time. Other than that, you know, had the Dancin Main bounce when it came in, Dancin Main drums. Like when the hook came in and you chopped the sample, that stayed on time, and you know that's because you were chopping the sample, so that was locked in properly. But the intro was just a little too loose at times, and with that such a dramatic intro that you did with the drums, that we want to slam dunk that. Other than that, man, Dancin Main, I told you already. I'm going to tell you again, you have your own sound and you need a artist. I don't care if it's an indie recording artist in Columbus, Ohio. I don't care if it's an indie recording artist in, you know, Rochester, New York somewhere. You know, y'all two need to lock in and create an album, create an EP. You know, maybe you are, maybe you have, maybe that's what you're currently doing, and I just don't know. So hey, I could just be talking out of turn, but there needs to be a Dancin Main and so EP or album with the Dancin Main vibe. So shout out to you, Dancin Main. All right, and it looks like you have another submission for tonight. Dancin Main, Could Be the Right Girl. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and mute my mic, take a listen, and then give my feedback. So let's go ahead and take a listen. Dancing, man. What's going on, man? Shout out to you, Dancing, man. Man, this is the second pure R&B beat that I've heard from you, Dancing, man. Typically producers who make hard beats like you, Dancing, man, kind of struggle to transition between R&B and the aggressive kind of beats that you typically make, because those aggressive type of beats, those hardcore hip hop beats, you know, speaking from the heart, straight from the trenches, those kind of beats that I hear, the storytelling beats, they don't always have to be in key. Sometimes things are off in a good way. Sometimes things are ugly in a pretty way, and people get locked into that box. But when I hear you do R&B, this is the second one, man. You slam dunk the R&B like, you know I can hear and feel R&B, so, you know, you definitely listen to the music and you know how to put the instrumentation together. So I'm definitely impressed, man. I can't lie, I thought last time I heard an R&B beat from you it was a fluke, but you got it, man. You got it. Shout out to you using that Tidra Moses sample, Be Your Girl, the Complex Simplicity album. I still remember that when that came out. Definitely a great song. A lot of people like that song. You know, this is what I was hearing in the beat as far as constructive feedback. I like the intro and I like how we went to pure R&B, but when we got to like the hook part or the breakdown part, I couldn't figure out, is this a real R&B record, or are we going dance? Like, cause dance sometimes has those nice soulful chords, but it's still a dance record. So that's really my only feedback. I feel like after the intro, we need to keep it R&B, and if you're gonna do a breakdown, not make it so upbeat and I want to party, I want to dance. I think, what's that song that Usher had, that, because Usher had a song that was half R&B, half dance, but I don't know, man. I would really keep this record all the way R&B, because it's pure R&B. So after the intro, let's go into the beat, and for the breakdown, don't make it so dancey. Let's make it, you know, if you just have to boom, boom, you know, keep it simple. We don't want to dance. We want to vibe. We want to feel. We want to chill out. So that's really my main critique. That breakdown kind of threw me off in the middle. But other than that, man, keep going, Dancing, man. You're developing your sound. You already developed your sound, and you're showing that you have versatility to get into R&B, despite you having a harder, grittier hip hop sound. So shout out to you, Dancing, man. I appreciate you for submitting on the heat check. Please continue to submit, and I'll be glad to help you on your music production journey. All right, moving forward, we have Mhoodie with Rapido. All right, shout out to you. I'm gonna go ahead and mute my mic, then play this beat, and then go ahead and give my feedback. So let's go ahead and take a listen.
It's Mhoodie. Try me.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Mhoodie with Rapido. So shout out to you, Mhoodie. Thank you so much for submitting on the heat check, and I'll be glad to continue to assist you on your music production journey. Now, the first thing I heard on that beat was I like the melody. I like where the melody was going, and it's like I was expecting like a hard West Coast beat drop. I was thinking this was gonna go in a YG direction, especially with the melody and the name of the beat. I thought we were gonna hear like boom, boom, you know, hard West Coast kind of vibes. But then the drums kind of felt. They kind of didn't. It kind of didn't really match. You know, it sounded cool, but it just didn't take me anywhere. It was okay, but it didn't really punch like I was expecting. I was expecting a hard West Coast punch, just a kick to just punch me in the chest, and then this clap to just snap and just hit me. But then the drums were just kind of, you know, kind of cool, kind of okay. All right, that's cool. When I was expecting something like so much more dramatic. So if I can get you to just mute those drums, go through, you know, YouTube, different tracks out there, different YG tracks, and just go in that direction and take it all the way there. And just, you know, get a West Coast drum kit and, you know, do your thing, take it all the way West Coast with the drums. You know, those drums just didn't really fit. Not really. Yes. Then the next thing I heard was the that lead that you were using was like a sine lead. And if you're gonna go into that West Coast, this still had West Coast vibes to it. You want to use something like a square wave. So have that square wave. It's gonna have more aggression. When you're playing it, it's gonna, you know, get into the, you know, the Dr. Dre, Battle Cat, Terrence Martin kind of vibes, where that we have the square wave, and you know, that's where that needed to go. And yeah, part of me almost feels like, you know, especially if you made that melody, just try linking up with a West Coast producer, you know, just looking for somebody on BeatStars or Instagram, hit them up and, you know, send them the melody. Especially if you made the melody, if that's something you played yourself, you know, that main melody part, link up with a West Coast producer on BeatStars. It's a numbers game, just like anything else. So you're going to hear a lot of no's and you're going to be left on red a lot. Don't take it personally. And, you know, the right person can take that melody and slam dunk it and take it to a whole nother level. So I always talk about the power of collaborations, which is really, it's literally been everything for me. That's opened every door for me, is some type of collaboration. So anybody telling you these self-made stories, you know, I don't know how they did it. Maybe they have some backdoor hookup that I don't know about, but collaborations are everything. So definitely reach out, different West Coast producers, send them that melody. If you have any other melodies, put it on BeatStars. Y'all split everything 50-50. Then get out there, hit people up on Instagram, hit people up on where else? I don't even know if artists get anywhere other than Instagram. Instagram is really the social media of the music game. So YouTube as well, but YouTube can be tricky. But yeah, so yeah, that's pretty much it for that beat. So shout out to you, Mhoodie. Thank you for submitting. And it looks like you have another submission for today. It looks like you have one called Rose. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and mute my mic, and then play this beat right here on the heat check. So let's take a listen.
It's Mhoodie. Try me.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Mhoodie with Rose. All right, shout out to you, Mhoodie. Now, for that beat, there's a couple things going on. One, I could hear this was like a cheaper stock piano that you were using. It might have even been like one that came default with your DAW. Definitely always recommend trying different VSTs like Contact, Keyscape, even Omnisphere has some good piano sounds in them. Who else got good piano sounds? That's pretty much it. And there's one called Addictive Keys. That's also a good one. So those are just different piano VSTs you can use. It felt like the chord progression fell off of the piano. It just didn't feel right. It felt like you had the first two chords and then the other two chords kind of fell off and didn't totally go together. And then also you had the organ sound going, and the organ sound didn't blend right. Starting with the piano, the chord progression was off, and then that made the organ not really sound pleasing to the ear, just because they really weren't blended well together. Just sonically, they weren't blended well together. Then also the musicality of the fact that the chord progression didn't flow well made it difficult for the organ to really go anywhere productive. So those two things were just kind of jarring. They were just kind of like not polished, musically not polished, and musically not in a tight pocket where it flows well. So we need to work on that. Also, you had some percussion sounds going on. They kind of came in. Those percussion sounds were way too loud. It didn't blend with the rest of the beat. It just felt like it was just kind of added later and then not blended properly. So that also threw off the vibe. Then also, the drums itself in that beat were soft. They didn't really punch. They didn't have any punch. They didn't really have any impact. Also, the snare didn't really fit that beat. So all those different elements just kind of made the beat just didn't blend well. It's kind of like a movie where the color correction is off, and then some of the actors are like, I don't want to go down that road of that analogy. But just all in all, things didn't just blend well, I would say. Musically, drums, and then sound selection as well. So, just keep grinding, keep working on beats, keep listening to different producers. Even remaking beats is going to help you out a lot. I know a lot of producers have way too much ego to do something like that, but I'm telling you, remaking beats, whether it's a popular beat, whether it's a beat you just find somewhere else and you just want to remake the beat just for fun, it's going to teach you a lot, and it's going to expose you to your own weak points that you need to fix, and it's going to help you level up quicker. You're going to notice like, oh, I'm not able to do that. Why? And then as you ask why you're not able to accomplish certain things when you're remaking beats, that's going to help you have different points of where you need to skill up as a music producer. So shout out to you, Mhoodie. I appreciate you for submitting on the heat check. Please continue to submit so I can help you on your music production journey. Moving forward, we have BG. BG. Is that BG like Baby Gangster from the Hot Boys? BG? No, I'm messing with you. BG probably stands for something way different. But shout out to you, BG. This one's called Lost in the Forest. So we're going to go ahead and take a listen to this beat. Then I'm going to go ahead and give my feedback. So let me go ahead and mute my mic so we can take a listen to this track. Ladies and gentlemen, that was BG with Lost in the Forest. Shout out to you, BG. Thank you for submitting on the heat check. Now, BG, I like that beat. That was really, that was a different beat. It was beautiful. You know, you had that beautiful with the birds chirping. You know, I felt like I was running through a field or something like that. But it also had the drill elements, which was, you know, typically harsher, grittier, kind of aesthetic when it comes to music, and the contrast together, you know, created this nice, cohesive, you know, harmony of things together, you know. I'm just laughing because it's just ironic that we have drill drums on such pretty melodies. And, you know, it's so unique. So shout out to you, BG, for being able to do that. One thing that was jumping out to me, that kick is nice and punchy. It's nice and aggressive. But it needs a little bit more body. It's all punch. It's all punch. We need a little bit of roundness to a little bit of lower mids to that kick. So, you know, go through all your drums, your drum packs, and find like a lower kick, find a deeper kick to just stack right underneath it. You might have to invert the phase if things don't blend well. So if you have some type of phase inversion on your DAW, we have it in FL Studio. But if it doesn't automatically fit, the lower rounder kick that's just going to hit the lower frequencies a bit better. Definitely try to find some type of plug-in with the phase inversion to make sure that they blend well. But if you have a lower frequency kick, just play with the pitch knob to make sure it fits well. So you have punch and body. We want punch and body, because all that punch, when we put them in the big speakers in the studio, it's gonna punch well, but it's not gonna hit the chest. And we want to hit the chest as well. So that's where the lower kick stacked on that punchy kick is gonna help out. Other than that beat just, I say this on a lot of tracks, that beat needs a songwriter. So find yourself a songwriter. Instagram is the place to go. Hit them up. They might not answer immediately, but keep going, and eventually you will hit the bullseye. You'll get something. So shout out to you, BG. Please continue to submit on the heat check, and I'll be glad to help you on your music production journey. It looks like you got another submission here, BG. All right, this one is called Sleep. So I'm going to go ahead and mute my mic. We're going to play Sleep by BG. Then I'm going to go ahead and give my feedback. So let's go ahead and take a listen. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was BG. Shout out to you, BG. Thank you so much for submitting on the heat check. And as a matter of fact here, all right, Deja Vu, what are you saying here? I'll send you some, delete, free, okay, all right, okay, 1 second here. All right, looks like somebody was trolling in here, so had to get the troll out. It's just nothing but attention seeking, so it's not gonna throw off the vibe. So, ladies and gentlemen, that was BG. So shout out to you, BG. Thank you so much for submitting on the heat check. All right, now, BG, that beat, it felt like the first thing that jumped out to me was that third 808. It was going doom, doom, doom. It felt like the third 808 was out of key. So what we want to do is in your DAW, just try pushing it down a half step or pushing it up a half step, and then just really listening to make sure that 808 is in key. Just that third one, doom, 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 that third one, it felt like it was off key. So let's try getting that in key. That's really gonna lock in the beat. Other than that, the beat had a cool vibe. It just kind of feel like I wanted more of a focus on the beat. It had a lot going on, and I never really quite musically found a real focus to actually like where a song would be created from this beat. And a part of the reason is because of that 808 was out of key. It made it a bit difficult for me to judge the beat because it pokes out so much that it makes it hard for me to be totally into the beat. So the out of key 808 kind of pushed me away from the beat when I want to be pulled into the beat because it sounds so good musically. So if we could fix that 808, I think I'd have a better time assessing this beat. But overall, I just feel like the focus needs to be tighter. So what I want you to do is after you fix the 808, just listen to the beat from the top and then just start mumbling to yourself, start rapping to yourself, start singing to yourself, and then really feel like, okay, if I was a recording artist, would I have a place to fit on this beat, or would that sound be too much? And then that's going to cause you to mute certain things. It's going to cause you to EQ certain things differently, so there's just more space in the beat for the artist to get on it. Sometimes when we're cooking up, especially by ourselves, especially in the studio, it could be difficult for us to know when too much is going on. And it's definitely a challenge. Definitely was a challenge for me for quite a long time. But please mumble to yourself, rap to yourself, sing to yourself, whatever lyrics you know on the top of your head. And that's going to help you just create more focus on the beat, so you're not just adding things, because it can be hard to do, but over time, you'll be able to slam dunk that. So looks like that was our last submission of the night. That was BG. All right, Millibeatz. Looks like I'll see you next Friday as well. Please submit on the heat check. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that was the show. One other thing, I actually did a reaction video to this new show called Turn Your Producer Up. So what I may do, you guys may see me tomorrow in the evening, like maybe around 8, doing another reaction, so make sure you guys jump in. If I do, I'm going to make sure I make a YouTube community post this time. I was just testing things out yesterday. But yeah, if I do a YouTube community post, it's going to be like an hour before I jump on live. So make sure you guys jump in. You know, we're going to vibe out, watch this new cool producer show, and I think we're going to have a good time together. So I hope to see you there. But if I don't, I will see you next Friday on the Heat Check. The free form is going to open up in the next 5 minutes, DesmondASounds.com/review. And I'm, of course, going to make a YouTube community post so you know it's available for you to go ahead and submit your beats. And also, if you're a producer, make sure you go to DesmondASounds.com, not now, but right now, and go ahead and get yourself some free FL Studio Patcher plugins if you're an FL Studio user, or get you some free loops. Cook up some beats if you're not an FL Studio user, and use them in your next productions. So this was a great show, another great Friday. Glad to see you guys every week, and I will see you next Friday on the Heat Check. Y'all be safe out there. I want to see you next Friday. Peace.